Yo, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to give my overall review of the Modern Warfare 2 beta. Now obviously this isn't for the entire game because we haven't seen stuff like the campaign, Spec Ops or Special Ops, and Warzone 2. So this is strictly just for what I've experienced so far through the beta. And I gotta say, I'm very much enjoying the game. There isn't too much I don't like about it, but there's obviously things that they can improve on. So I'm going to start with the things that they can improve on since my list is pretty small. The perk system. First of all, I've seen people do tests and I still can't figure out when you actually get your perks later in the game. Now that being said, the perk system, they should just give you the option to go back to 3 perks. And if you want to have that optional, the system we have now, the 2 perks starting, then you get the 3rd, then you get the 4th, that's fine. But leave that as like an optional thing. This way, if you do select this, you're kind of handicapped in the beginning because you're only starting with 2 perks as opposed to the person that would have 3 all the time. But then you would eventually get your 4th perk, whereas the other person would only have 3 perks. So I think that would really balance out the perk system and give people a fair amount of options. One other thing I would change is putting red dots back on the radar when firing an unsuppressed weapon. They have since removed this from the Modern Warfare 2 beta so far, and that's a new implementation in the game that they try to put in. And their reasoning for this is, and I quote, "Currently in the MW2 beta, we only show enemy player dots when a UAV is active. The design reason for this is that we do not want to punish players for firing their weapons. We also want players to actively search out the origin of a gunshot versus traveling directly to where the red dot is on the minimap. We continue to gather feedback on how the game is playing in regards to this topic." Now, I totally see where they're going with that, and it seems like they are trying to make the game a lot more realistic, because in real life, if somebody fired off a weapon, you're not going to be able to follow a red dot. There is no radar. Now, you might have someone in a plane trying to give you hints on where people are, but in real life, when you fire a weapon, there is no red dot. So if you have a suppressor on, you're probably not going to hear them. If you don't have a suppressor on, you will get punished, and we will be able to hear where you're firing from and track you that way. So they definitely tried to take a more realistic approach to it. However, this is a video game and we all want to have fun, and Call of Duty has had these red dots on the radar for years, over a decade. They should just bring it back and leave it, because I feel like with no red dots on the map at all, this is actually, instead of causing these players to go out and actively search out the origin of the gunshot, as they like to claim, I feel like it's just making people camp, and it's making people a little bit more scared to go out and venture out because they don't know what's going on and where anyone is. So it definitely makes the game a lot more interesting in the fact that it's more realistic. And for people that aren't like running and gunning all the time, that are confident in rushing out, even good players, it takes away our ability to be aware of our surroundings. It just makes the game a little bit slower. So I think if they want to actually promote people going out and actively moving around, they need to put those red dots back on the map. Simple as that. Also, if you're not using a suppressor and you still aren't being seen on the radar, kind of takes away the point of using the suppressor. Normally you would use your suppressor so that you don't pop up on someone's minimap. However, now there's really no benefit to using the suppressor, because now I can use a different muzzle and it doesn't matter. I won't pop up on anyone else's minimap anyway. So why would I ever select the suppressor, which then would lower my damage range? That wouldn't make any sense. So it kind of takes away the effectiveness of the suppressor as a whole. Because even when you fire a gun with a suppressor in this game, you can still hear it. It's not as audible, but you can still hear it. So I'd still be able to turn around and see, oh look, there's an enemy firing over there. They're firing a suppressed MP5 or a suppressed M4 or whatever the gun is. Again, this is not a make it or break it thing for me. I played the game quite well without it. However, it would make the game a lot more fun and probably speed up the pace a little bit. Now let's move on to the things that I enjoy about the game, because there are quite a bit. First things first, I love the gameplay feel. Now overall, compared to Warzone or previous Call of Duties, the gameplay is definitely a little slower. However, you gotta remember, back in the day in Modern Warfare, we didn't have slide canceling, we didn't have sliding, we didn't have dolphin diving. Back in Modern Warfare 2 days, we just had climbing ladders and jump shotting around the corner and drop shotting. So you can still jump shot in this game, you can still drop shot in this game, which I'm thankful that they put that back in and made it very easy to do again. And of course now you can also slide cancel. Now for those of you that heard that slide canceling is not in the game anymore, there are still ways to work around this, and I actually have 2 videos on how to do this. I'll link them up in the top right corner and down below in the description for anyone that is interested. I'm pretty sure they're not going to patch this for the real game, because this was available the first week the beta came out, and the second week they didn't patch this. So anyways, the gameplay feel definitely feels a little bit on the slower side, even with slide canceling. because when you slide cancel, it still, when you slide, you don't feel like you're moving that fast. And you know, you can go back and play Warzone now, and the gameplay definitely feels a little bit more sped up. It feels a little bit more twitchy, which I enjoy. But on a different aspect of things, I do really miss the way Call of Duty used to play, a little bit more on the slower scale and more about gun skill than movement. So I really enjoy the gameplay feel of this game. Now, another thing I really love is the kill streaks. I love the fact that they paid homage to the older kill streaks like the AC-130, Chopper Gunner, and I'm looking forward to the full array of kill streaks that we can choose from. And as a whole, I like that they brought back kill streaks and not point streaks. I was so sad when they introduced point streaks because essentially, I'm getting a 15 kill streak, I should be able to get my 15 kill streak reward. I shouldn't have to be able to compete with somebody else that's been playing the match for like 10 minutes and we're almost at the end of the match, but because they've accumulated enough points, they're also getting that 15 point streak per se. If you got 15 kills, you should be rewarded if you got 15 kills without dying. If someone else can't get more than 3 or 4 kills without dying, well then that's too bad. You get the 3 or 4 kill streak and that's it. And if you can't get a 3 kill streak, well hey man, you gotta get better at the game. Simple as that. I don't like these games that try to reward everybody and try to give everybody a medal, even when they're not good at the game. It's not the fact that the game is gonna push people away because it's too quote unquote hard to play, but it's the fact that if the game is a little harder to play, or maybe the person that's trying it out for the first time isn't that good at it, they're not going to want to get better if there's a million incentives for them to play the game at a lower skill level. And they have to actually, if they have to actually try to get a kill streak, try to watch other players, try to watch pro players, try to learn from them and get better and develop their skill in the game, it's going to make it so much more rewarding and they're going to enjoy the game a lot more. Anyways, I really do like the kill streaks. They're very fun to use. However, the Chopper Gunner, the first time I used it, I was very disappointed. It didn't move. So you're stuck in one spot and it doesn't vibrate the screen when you shoot or anything. It just kind of, it takes away the feeling of being in a Chopper Gunner. It takes away the feeling of being in a helicopter. It makes it feel like you're kind of just watching from like a CCTV camera or something, and you're the one just calling in the strike. But otherwise, I do like the kill streak so far, but there are definitely little things that they could improve, and I hope that they do improve the Chopper Gunner to make it just like the Modern Warfare 2 version, where it did circle the map in a similar rotation, so all the players knew where it was going to go and how to avoid it. So it gives everybody a chance, and it was more fun because it actually felt like you were in a Chopper Gunner. Anytime you fired off a round, it would shake the helicopter and shake the gun a little bit, because that's more realistic, which is what they're trying to achieve with this game. So hopefully they change that up. But overall, I do love the kill streaks, and they're really fun to use. Third on my list of things that I love about the multiplayer so far, the maps. The maps are a great size for the appropriate game modes. And what I mean is, the team deathmatch maps are not massive where it takes you 10 years to go from your spawn to the enemy spawn to start getting some kills, and then when you die you gotta rerun it all over again. It's not like that. So now the maps are more adequately sized, and they seem more like mid-range maps for like TDM and domination, and it makes the gameplay a lot faster. Some of the maps in Vanguard, for example, are absolutely huge, and they take forever to navigate around, and it makes the gameplay feel a lot slower. And when you die, you have to take so much more time to go from your spawn to the enemy just to start getting kills again to speed up your gameplay. So I really do like the maps for this. They're not too complicated, but they're just complicated enough to where they feel good. They have a lot of different spots you can go to. They still have different routes you can run, and overall they look great. Now speaking of looks, that's the fourth thing on my list. I love the visibility, the color, and the graphics. It looks like they finally took everyone's advice and they put color into the game, which is amazing because some of the previous Call of Duties have looked so dull compared to the old ones. It's just mind-blowing. As the graphics got better, the colors seemed to get more dull, which made no sense to me. So now the color is great. The graphics is another thing. I love the graphics, and the visibility in the game is pretty good. I play on 105 field of view and can go up to 120, and supposedly there may or may not be field of view options on the next gen consoles once this game comes out. So I'm very much looking forward to the console players getting that, because I used to be a console player myself. Now I play on PC, but I still, still love my consoles. And as a matter of fact, I still play with a controller. I don't even use a keyboard. So anyways, number 4 on my list was visibility, color, and graphics. Number 5, and my final thing, the guns. I love the guns. The guns sound good. They feel good. I do like how realistic the gunsmith is. If you guys are gun aficionados and you know anything about weapons, some of these gunsmiths options are pretty realistic, and it makes the guns look really, really cool. And I'm very much looking forward to how the camos are going to look in the game, because we didn't really get too much of a hint on what the camos are going to be like and how they're going to look. But so far, if you pre-ordered the game and you got that red camo, it was pretty cool looking. And I'm very much looking forward to them bringing back old school camos. I really hope they bring back like Blue Tiger, Red Tiger, and Fall Camo. That was so cool in Modern Warfare 2. It was simple, but it was cool, and it showed status. It showed that you put time and effort into getting those camos, and I really hope they do something like that again. But overall, I do love the guns. I love the way they shoot. I love the way they sound. I love the way they feel. Some of the guns in the game that I could mention, the AK-74U, that gun in stock form was amazing. And by hands down, the best guns in the game, in my opinion, were the M4, the MP5, and the AK-74U. I'm really excited and really much looking forward to what the rest of the guns are going to be in our selection once the game comes out and is fully released. If you guys did enjoy the game, drop a like on this video. Leave a comment down below on what your favorite things were about the game, and if there's anything that you disliked about the game, leave a comment down below so that I, myself, and other people can check it out, and maybe we can kind of share it with the community and make sure that these things get addressed later on in the future with future updates. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Feel free to check out my social media down below. I do have Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. I do also have a Twitch. Feel free to check that out, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.